Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the next update for my eyeshadow bank. This is a project that I've been doing for the last 2 years now to help me curb my most difficult category, problem category, all of that kind of stuff. Just because I love spending money on eyeshadows. Well, I don't love spending the money, but I love bringing new eyeshadows to my collection. So I decided to introduce this for two reasons. Again, obviously the monetary reason, even though that hasn't been as much of a reasoning in the past. However, as you know, I'm having a baby, so like that's going to play more of a role. Second of all, it's going to be just because I have so many eyeshadows. I have more than I could ever go through, and well, yeah, probably ever go through. So I want to limit the amount of eyeshadows that I bring into my collection, which is the reason why I'm doing this project. So I'm gonna update you on the numbers, how many points I earned this month, if I spent any points, all of that stuff. But before I jump into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So before I talk about the numbers themselves, this project was very heavily inspired by Lara Force. I love Lara's channel. She does some amazing videos. I love watching all of them. And she's doing this project. Of course, lots of people have done different versions of like beauty bank, stuff like that. But she created the eyeshadow bank, and I follow quite similar rules. We have some differences, but basically you earn points, and then for every 10 points you earn, you can buy one eyeshadow. There are of course some exceptions to that rule, but that's the main gist of the project. So I'm gonna let you know how many points again I've earned, how many points I earned per category, all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like I have a pretty good month, so I'm gonna jump straight into it. So in the beginning of April, I started off with a balance of 186 points. That was my going into April, so that would have been 18 and a half eyeshadows about, and that I could have purchased. And the first way I can earn points is from No Pan Left Behind. And in the past month, I was able to get 3 points from that category. I get 1 point per palette that I complete No Pan Left Behind on. And the 3 palettes that I was able to do No Pan Left Behind on was the Odin's Eye Red Dragon palette, the Pat McGrath Utopian Dream, and the Viseart Paris Edit. So those 3 palettes I didn't do No Pan Left Behind on, so 3 points earned in that category. Then for where I get majority of my points is from 10 uses. So every time I get 10 uses for an eyeshadow, so you know that could be 20 uses, that would be a point. Next time I hit 30, that would be another point, and so on. So every time I hit that 10 use threshold, I get 1 point per shadow. And in the past month, I was able to earn 27 points that way, which is quite high. So let me talk you through which shades I got points from. So first up we have Glam Shop Vegas Biz. I got 10 uses on that one. Then we have Odin's Eye from the Red Dragon palette, the shade Solar Flare, 10 uses there as well. From the Colourpop Going Coconuts palette, we also have a 10 user, and that is Cocoa Crush. We continue on with more shadows with 10 uses. We have the JD Glow single in Peachy Keen, so 10 uses there. And the Glam Shop single in Bombawi, also 10 uses. So that is some points right there. The next shadow we have are another 10 user, but I have a total of 20, and that is the Sydney Grace shade in Perfect Storm. So again, 20 users total, but only 1 point earned this past month. We have a shadow from the Natasha Nona Love palette in the shade Valentine, which we're actually wearing on Lights today to my Pan of eyeshadows. It's a pink matte, so 10 users there. We have a shade from the Pat McGrath Utopian Dream. We have the shade Astro Amethyst Moon, 10 users for that shade. From the Viseart Paris Edit palette, we have the shade Champs Élysées. Again, hopefully I'm not butchering French every time I say French names on this channel. I'm hoping I don't butchering them because French is not my forte. But 20 uses on that shade, so actually 2 points earned for that shadow. We also have my Colourpop single in Ice Cold. It was originally from the I think Mint to Be palette, but I have it now in my singles collection, and I got 10 uses on that shade too. We did have 2 shades which have quite high amount of points, so let me explain. First up we have the NYX Beige single, or like cream deposit single, which I got 70 uses on. And also the Cypress Umber shade from my Soft Glam palette, which also has 7 uses this month. Both of them are sitting at 110 uses total. And the reason why I have such a high usage on those, 70 uses in a month is very high, is because I finished up a Franken shade with those 2 shadows combined. And what I do when I use a Franken shadow is I track the Franken shadow, but then I don't add those uses on top of the shades until it's done. So I did complete that Franken shade. I think it took me like 65 uses to finish that. And that's where the 70 threshold on both of those shades came from. So I got a lot of points from both of those shadows. Obviously 7 points from each, so that would be 14 points in total. So again, quite a lofty amount there. Then we have two final shades. We have a single from Shine by SD in the shade Golden Girl. So I have 10 uses on that one for a total of 20. And then also the Terravune's single in Winter Star, also 10 uses for a total of 20. So quite a good amount of points for 10 uses this past month. Again, mainly just thanks to finishing that Franken shade, so 27 points there. Moving on to the next category, which is 100 uses. This is another one where I get points whenever I hit the 100 use threshold on my shadows. And since it's so hard to get to 100 uses, I get 5 points for every 100 use threshold that I hit. And this past month I have two shadows, and I already mentioned them both. The first one is Cypress Umber from Anastasia Soft Glam palette, and the second one is my NYX The Potted Beige Cream Shadow. Again, both of those managed to get to that threshold because I finished that Franken. So 10 points in the 100 uses category. Then next up we have pans, and again, every time I hit a pan I get 1 point, and I have 7 pans this past month. So first up we have the Odin's Eye Red Dragon shadow in Solar Flare, so from that palette. We have my Colourpop Going Coconuts in the shade Cocoa Crush, hit pan on that one too. That was in my Pan of Eyeshadows, I believe. Solar Flare was from my Product Level Up. We have Colourpop Ice Cold, which is from my Panda palette in order. And then we have two shadows from my Panda palette. We have the Glam Shop shade in Laser and the Glam Shop shade in Vegas Base. I hit pan on both of those. And then lastly, we do have two pans in my VCR Paris Edit palette. We have the shade Opera, and then again that shade Shams Lucis, whatever that was, the one I mentioned before. I had pan on both of those, so that again is 7 points for pans. And then the last category where I can earn points is finished shadows, and I don't have any points for that category this past month. Yeah, I mean I finished that Franken, but I don't count that as a finished shadow because the original shades are not finished yet. I use kind of again spread that's used out between the two shadows that were Frankened, but no finished shadows, so 0 points in that category. And adding all of that together, I was actually able to earn 47 points in the past month, which I'm super happy with. That is so good. It's such a high amount. Yeah, 47 is almost 5 full eyeshadows, which I am again very, very happy with. So good amount of points coming in. However, did I spend any points? Kind of, yes and no. I did not technically, however, I realized there was an eyeshadow in my collection that I got as a free gift with purchase that I had not yet tracked. So I decided to add that into this month's numbers because this is the month that I realized. And that is this single right here. This is from Natasha Denona. It is the golden eyeshadow, sorry, it's the shade from the golden eyeshadow palette, but it's also in the gold palette. So I actually have this one already in a palette, but it doesn't matter, I wanted to keep it anyway. And this is the shade Oro, which is just a yellow tone gold. And this one I got, I believe, in an advent calendar or in like a free gift with purchase of some sort. Actually not the advent calendar, I think I got it in like a free gift with purchase. But yeah, this one came in, I believe it came in February time. But I realized when I was like rounding up all my purchases and like stuff like that for the year so far, that I missed adding this one in. So this one here is obviously a gifted shadow. It was free gift for purchase. So that for me personally, instead of counting the 10 points, I only count 5, which is half of the points that it would cost me to spend it on like by myself. So 5 points gone for the shadow, again because it was gifted. So that means -5 out of my bank. And looking at that again, we had 186 points moving into April. And I spent 5 points again for that shadow, but I did earn 47 points coming in. And with all of that being said, that means that I am starting May off with a balance of 228 points, which again is great. It means that we are keeping going up, which is good. I will have some eyeshadows coming in this month though, so in May my points are definitely going to go down. I will share that all in my next update. But yeah, definitely having some more eyeshadows coming in, so you will see that in a month's time. But yeah, I'm really happy with where my eyeshadow bank is sitting. I'm happy with the system. I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like I don't want to buy as many shadows as I used to, so it's definitely helped with my mindset too, so I'm very, very grateful for that. And again, thanks to Lara for creating this project and giving me the idea to do this, because I am absolutely loving it. And I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and we'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys!